Welcome back. Tonight, I have 3 scary stories for you. Stories you won't soon forget. Lock your doors, turn off the lights, and listen carefully. It all started on a cold winter night when I was alone in my apartment. I'm Emma, 28, and I've always been cautious about my personal space. That night, I was reading in my living room. The lights dimmed to create a cozy atmosphere. Suddenly, I felt an icy chill run down my spine, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a dark shape lurking behind the curtains. I froze, heart pounding. I slowly turned my head, but nothing was there, just the empty corner. I convinced myself I was overtired and imagined things, until the following night. The same shadow appeared again, but this time it lingered longer. I started to feel watched, especially at night. One evening, I decided to confront it. I turned on all the lights, looked into that corner, and saw nothing. Yet, as I was about to breathe a sigh of relief, I noticed a faint, cold wind blowing from behind the curtains. When I pulled them back, I found a hidden door I never knew existed, leading to a small dusty crawl space. Inside, I found old, tattered clothing and a broken mirror. No sign of anyone living there. That night, I realized the shadow wasn't just a figment of my imagination. Someone had been sneaking into my apartment through that hidden door. But the scariest part, the mirror had a fresh, bloody smear on it. I had never entered that crawl space before, yet something, or someone, had been there. That shadow was a warning I never truly understood until it was too late. My name is Marc, 35. I've always believed that technology would keep us safe, until the night I received a voicemail that shattered that belief. It was around 2 a.m. when my phone buzzed with a notification. I saw a strange number and almost ignored it. But curiosity got the better of me, and I listened. There was only heavy breathing on the other end, then a faint whisper. "You can't escape." My blood ran cold. I sat frozen, feeling a growing sense of dread. The message repeated twice more, each time more frantic. I tried to trace the call, but it was untraceable. Perhaps a burner phone. The following day, I went to the police, but they couldn't find anything. Things remained quiet for a week, until I started noticing strange things around my house: footsteps, broken objects, and shadows lurking just beyond my vision. Then, late one night, as I sat nervously on my couch, my phone buzzed again. This time, no voice, but only an ominous picture attached. It was the same shadow figure I'd seen before, standing in my living room. Now I realized those voicemails were a warning. Someone was watching me, and I had unknowingly become a part of a game I couldn't escape. The twist? 2 days after that, I found a dusty, torn photograph of my face with a small note. "They're inside now." I still live in fear, wondering when the true nightmare will end. Hi, I'm Sarah, 22, and I want to tell you about a night that still haunts me. I was traveling alone and exhausted from a long drive. I stopped at a small roadside motel. The place looked deserted, but I was desperate for rest. I checked in, paid cash, and went to my room. Around midnight, I received a call on the room's landline. No one answered when I picked up, only heavy breathing. I brushed it off, thinking it was a prank. But then, the calling stopped, only to be replaced by faint scratching on the door. I looked through the peephole but saw nothing. Suddenly, my phone vibrated with a text message. "Open the door." My heart pounded. I grabbed my phone to call the front desk, but the line was dead. Fear overtook me, so I quietly grabbed my bag and prepared to leave. As I tiptoed toward the door, the lights flickered out. Then came a whisper right outside the door. "Let me in." I ran out of the room and called emergency services. When they arrived, they searched the entire motel, but the room was eerily empty. No signs of forced entry or anyone else being there. The next day, I learned the motel had a dark history, involving disappearances and shady dealings. But what haunts me most? 2 weeks later, I received a package in the mail, a small dried lock of hair, along with a photo of my room, taken from outside my window. Whoever was watching me was still out there, and I'd narrowly escaped a nightmare I can't forget. My name is Lucas, 19. I used to work as a part-time babysitter for a family nearby. One evening, I stayed late watching the kids while their parents were out. Everything was normal until around midnight, when I received a call on my cell. "Are you alone?" I answered nervously, but the line went dead. Moments later, my own phone suddenly rang from an unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. It was a muffled voice whispering, "You're not alone." My stomach sank. I looked around the house with the flashlight, finding no one but the kids sleeping peacefully. Then my phone lit up with a new message, a photo of me sleeping on the couch, taken from outside the window. My skin crawled. I quickly called the police, but they couldn't find anyone nearby. As I sat there trembling, my phone buzzed one last time, another message. "I'm inside." That's when I realized the true horror. An intruder had been hiding in the house all along. The police arrived just in time to catch someone trying to crawl out through the back door. The twist? The family later told me they'd received anonymous threats day before I started, but I dismissed them as prank calls. Someone had been watching the house for weeks. I still wonder how much I was truly in danger, and if they had plans for me next. Hi, I'm Rachel, 30. I've always loved my quiet, cozy house in the suburbs. One night, I was reading in my bedroom when I suddenly felt a strange presence. I looked up and saw no one, but the air felt thick and cold. I shrugged it off and went back to my book. But then I noticed something odd. The small framed photo on my bedside table was shifted slightly. I assumed I had bumped it earlier, but I also realized my door was slightly ajar, even though I was sure I closed it. I got up to check, and as I did, I heard a faint whisper behind me. "Don't look." My heart hammered. I quickly locked the doors and windows, but the feeling of being watched persisted. The next morning, I found muddy footprints leading from the back door to my closet. I still didn't see anyone, but I moved out soon after, terrified of what might have been lurking. The most disturbing part? 2 weeks later, I received a letter with no return address. Inside, there was a handwritten note. I was here. I see everything. To this day, I don't know who or what was inside my house, but the fear of the silent visitor remains with me, etched into my memory forever. If you enjoyed these true scary stories, consider subscribing for more real horror experiences, and don't forget to stay alert, because the next story might just happen to you.